Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 12th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You noticed our ridge starting to flatten out here and it's starting to retreat back to the west out over the Pacific Ocean. That's going to allow for these westerlies to return. The onshore flow will be coming. You see the curly Q across the Gulf of Alaska. That's our next trough. And then we've got even more moisture and a potentially decent frontal system rolling through as we go towards the end of the week, bringing widespread precipitation across some of the Pacific Northwest. We'll dive into those details as well as we go through the video here this morning. So taking a look at that marine there up and down the Oregon coast, you can kind of see it go back and forth this morning. Not much for the Washington coast. Some nice sunny skies out there as well. Still keeping some of this offshore flow going across a lot of the region. Another very warm day again today for the Willamette Valley, some of the Washington coast, and some of the Puget Sound area up into southwest BC. But that is going to be changing dramatically as we go through the day tomorrow. And just a reminder, this channel, the name got reset. This is the original Pacific Northwest Weather Watch channel. You can see the 100,000 subscribers there. I should have access to this on Thursday. They reset the picture and everything, just something that YouTube basically does, but I should be able to change that back on Thursday. So, subscribe to this channel, but please don't unsubscribe to that one because the videos will be going back to this channel here over the next couple of days. And I should also have control of California Weather Watch on Thursday as well. Now, taking a look at what is going on out there yesterday, look at southwest BC, some very warm temperatures there. You can see go up towards Ghazi, and I mean 96 degrees. We'll go interior. There's Ford Mountain, 96 degrees. Look at some of western Washington as well, still Squamish River there, 96 degrees. Seattle, upper 80s. You can see some of Vancouver Island, again, very warm, some upper 90s. Looks like somebody even touched 100 degrees. Port Alberti, sorry, again, 100 degrees. And some of the interior portions of Vancouver Island can get very warm under these conditions, as can the Washington coast. Quileute, 95 degrees, all-time record high. Look at Forks at 96, coming off the higher terrain with the offshore compressional winds, really ramping up the temperatures. And if you go down a bit further south, the Queets, only 74. So big difference there in the temperature right along the Washington coast. Go down a bit further south, and again, Portland, 99 degrees. Look at Olympia, 90 degrees there. SeaTac checked in at 87. I believe that's Boeing Field at 88. But you can see 100-degree plus readings. Look at Albany, Salem, down the Willamette Valley, 102. But look at the Oregon coast. I mean, some places right along the coast, we're dealing with some 70s and even down into the 60s there as well. I mean, look at this one right here. Look at that, Newport, 64. Click a little bit further south. There's Florence Municipal Airport, checking in at 66 yesterday. So look at the huge difference between the interior areas and versus what is going on at the coastal regions. I mean, look at this, 57 at Gold Beach yesterday versus, 110, 106 there at Medford. Just ridiculous temperatures inland. So looking at the extreme heat, again, today, the last very warm day for the Willamette Valley. Still got the extreme heat warning all the way through 10 p.m. this evening. Something similar for Seattle, not quite as warm, of course, as the Willamette Valley, but still got heat advisories. We got some fire weather watches across some of the Cascades, and the extreme heat warning is for Yakima. Now, Medford, Oregon, again, something similar here. We're looking at red flag warnings. We kick these westerlies back on as we go through tonight and on through tomorrow morning. We're going to bring some of that fire danger there, some gusty winds, some low relative humidities, at least initially with this onshore push. Same thing for eastern Washington, Oregon, red flag warnings, extreme heat warnings, fire weather watches, you name it, we got it. Heat advisory there for Spokane, Ritzville, Washington as well. And you can kind of see that the gusty winds on Wednesday up to 35 miles per hour with some low relative humidities. So that is what's going to drive that fire danger. Some of those could potentially spread quite rapidly. So let's back this up here. And there's the ridge right now. You can see it's starting to weaken a bit here and starting to flatten out. And that's what's going to allow for this next trough swinging through here as we go through the day on Wednesday. Onshore flow, marine push will be ramping up into the area, really cooling us down. And then watch the trough get going out over the Gulf of Alaska. And that's just going to drive this moist flow and the next frontal system as we go through the end of the week and towards the weekend. Potentially some heavy amounts showing up with some of this activity here, maybe even reaching atmospheric river status for some of the Pacific Northwest. Now, first things first, I want to give a little bit of what's coming here on a more detailed look at 925 millibars, about 2,500 feet. You can kind of see the northerly winds still getting that offshore flow all the way down across western Washington towards northwest Oregon. Put that into motion as we go through the day today. You notice we start to kick things back onshore, but that is not enough time to, really limit the Willamette Valley in western Washington from another very warm day. But you'll notice that wind shift here as we go through tonight and then through tomorrow morning. You're going to see the southerly winds up the Puget Sound again, the onshore flow across the east slopes of the Cascades, and you will definitely feel this tomorrow as we dramatically cool down much of the region, especially west of the Cascades. And look at what the North American model has in a 24-hour temperature change. Look at Seattle, 21 degrees. Olympia, 26 degrees difference over a 24-hour period. Portland, 20, maybe some 20-degree differences down the Willamette Valley here. Also, southwest BC. Look at Vancouver Island. I mean, my goodness, 25 degrees or more difference in the 24-hour period. Now, if we take a look here at what is coming with this frontal system as well, again, there's the ridge. We put this into motion, and you can see the onshore flow start initially, but then the frontal system arrives as we go through the day Friday. And look at this. I mean, this is vertically integrated transport. And when you hit 24 hours under this vertically integrated transport elevated numbers, that is considered atmospheric river activity. And if we take a closer look there, we're going to scroll off here towards the end of the week and look at that moisture flow into the region. Some of the Washington coast, we'll call it this. Let's go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 21, or 18, 21, 24, could be 24 hours or more. That would classify as an atmospheric river. So some portions of western Washington, maybe the Oregon, Washington coast. But yeah, there is that upper level low, and we're going to get some decent precipitation, it looks like right now, out of this system. And this is the atmospheric river rating system chart. So you see it has to be 24 hours when you're dealing with some of these weaker totals there. But yeah, I mean, this one could be considered moderate. And just because it's an atmospheric river does not mean this is a bad thing. These can be beneficial, especially early in the season. You just don't want to drop too much rain and too fast a period of time, but that really shouldn't be the case too much. You can have some minor localized flooding, but overall, you got to take the rain, especially with how dry we've been here across the Pacific Northwest. And you kind of see how they categorize things here. Primarily hazardous for 5, 4, mostly hazardous, can be beneficial. But yeah, early in the year, these can definitely be very beneficial. Now, taking a look at total precipitation. So what everybody wants to know about here, how much rain are we going to get out of this system? Well, let's look at the European model here, and we'll scroll through. And this is where the frontal system comes rolling in here on Friday. You see it's hitting Vancouver Island, southwest BC, Olympic Mountains initially, and then you can see the moisture start to move down across Seattle, North Cascades. I mean, look at some of these totals. They're up over 3, 4 inches for some individual locations. Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, between 3/4 and an inch of precipitation by Saturday morning. And then some of that tries to clip Portland. How much of that is going to move into the Willamette Valley? How much of that will get portions of Northwest Oregon? Good question. To see a pretty sharp cutoff here as you go through the day on Saturday of where this precipitation is going to set up. So I don't want to get people's hopes up too high across the Oregon Cascades just yet. And this could back off across some of the Washington Cascades at this time frame here, but it is looking pretty good. Models are pretty set on this frontal system rolling through, but we will be checking back on this, of course, on a daily basis. Now, let's take a look here. We're going to go to a daily max 2-meter temperatures here. So look at Seattle today, 90 degrees. Could be the warmest day of the bunch for Seattle. Portland, right again around the 99-100 degree mark. Maybe a little bit cooler across some of the Willamette Valley, but still right around 100 degrees. Are you going to notice it? Probably not. Some 90s into southwest BC. Again, Vancouver Island, interior portions, very hot. Eastern Washington, Oregon, Boise, 101. Actually, sorry, let me back that up again here. I want to go ahead and show you what's coming as we go on through Wednesday. Look at the cool down coming for Seattle, back down into the 70s. Look at Vancouver Island, just like Mother Nature's air conditioning just kicks right back on. Still fairly warm east of the mountains, but definitely a cool down there as well. And then we go to Thursday, and look at this, the entire region, the temperature starting to become suppressed, save maybe for some of the interior valleys like the Treasure Valley there for Boise, still into the low 90s. Then we go through Friday, still cooling things down, only a high of 68 for Seattle. Big changes incoming here. Look at Portland, low 70s, Washington, Oregon coast in the mid and upper 60s. Then we go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. No major heat wave yet. But I want to show the extended forecast because something showing up in the extended forecast is a little bit interesting, but just kind of a fantasy forecast look at things. Hold on with me for a moment here. Now, one more look at things here with the GFS 24-hour temperature change. You can clearly see the models are in agreement. Huge changes coming tomorrow. And kind of remember that off across some of the backcountry. You may be prepared for some of that warm camping there on some of the west slopes of the Cascades or east slopes or wherever you may be. And big temperature changes can catch people off guard. So remember that if you're in the backcountry. Now, looking at the European artificial intelligence, Let's put this into motion. There goes our initial trough, and then the stronger system as we go through this weekend. That's bringing our precipitation chances. Trough hangs out for a bit with us, but what will happen after that? Well, some of the models are showing this ridge across the southwest USA and kind of getting that ridge axis extend back up towards Western Canada here as we go through the following weekend. There's still 10 days out in the forecast here, but it's something interesting that we'll continue to look at. We may not be done with the warmth just yet. It's still August. You can get pretty warm through the month of August here across the Pacific Northwest and on into portions of September as well. Now, 15-day precipitation anomaly, I got to show you this here. The European ensemble mean is very nice looking. So I just like to show you this here. You can see some areas are dealing with some pretty good precipitation amounts rolling in here, but still, we got to work out the details on just where that sharp cutoff for the precipitation is going to be, right around Washington, down in towards Oregon. Who's going to be right on that cutoff? Well, that's something we'll be watching here over the next few days. Now, this is the extended forecast for the European model here. So this goes out 46 days, and this is Quileute, Washington on the Washington coast that set that record yesterday with 95 degrees. But look, as we go through the end of August, we can still warm things up here through the end of August. So, mossbacks don't emerge out of your dens just quite yet and expect that we're done with the warmth. As we go through August, you can still get pretty warm, but again, there's not that great of an ensemble agreement with it just yet. Here's Portland. You can kind of see that same warm up there, in the later portion of August. This is just kind of pointing at things and saying, hey, look, we can still get warm all the way through August and into portions of September. Fall is not necessarily here just yet. Seattle, same thing. It even shows a few 90-degree days as we go through the end of August. No promises with that, of course, but just kind of pointing out the fact that we can still warm up. Now, average max temperature departure from average. So this is since May 15th. You can see the Pacific Northwest has been, as a whole, above normal here. You can see some portions of the Washington, Oregon coast, and some select areas have been below normal, but the majority of the region has been above normal here over the last 3 months. And precipitation-wise as well has been extremely dry across Washington and most of Oregon. I say some of the southern Oregon Cascades there, but this is just a percent of average precipitation, so it can be easy to kind of skew these numbers. But yeah, this rainfall, we really need it. And hopefully some of this gets down into Oregon too. You can see the big deficit we have been running over the last 3 months. And here's the 6 to 10 days. We go August 17th through 21st, and doesn't tell you much there, but it does show that above normal precipitation chances during that time frame. Then the 8 to 14 day kind of shows again, maybe that warm up coming as we go towards the end of August as well, and a below normal signal for the Pacific Northwest. But we'll worry about that. We have, we'll be breaking it down daily and keep you up to date with that as we go. But yeah, anyway, again, I should have control of the channel back here in the next couple of days. Thanks to everybody who's been showing up and watching the videos. The numbers have been great for a brand new channel here. I mean, it seems like everybody is finding the channel fairly well, but I should be switching back to the original channel here over the next couple of days. So anyway, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.